My reading partner, Daisy May, decided to play toys instead. We gotta read some books. Our next story, preschoolers, is Curious George, Farm to Table. It's a good one. Curious George, Farm to Table. George was helping his friend Marco make his famous tortillas for his abuela's birthday dinner. George reached for a bag on the windowsill, but it accidentally fell to the ground. "Don't worry, George," said Marco. "That's the masa, or cornmeal. We use it to make tortillas. I'm sure we have more." Marco looked in the cupboard. "Uh-oh, I thought we had more," he said. George had an idea. He knew exactly where they could find the masa that Marco needed. They walked to the local grocery store and asked the store clerk, "Masa? Oh, I'm sorry. I just sold the last bag. But I promised my grandmother I would make tortillas for her birthday," said Marco. "Beep, beep. You're in luck. The delivery man is here," said the store clerk. "My Uncle Enrique," Marco exclaimed. "Let's ask him for more masa." "Uncle Enrique, today's Abuela's birthday. I want to make her tortillas, but I don't have any masa," said Marco. "No masa? I don't have any on my truck, but I know where we can get some," said Uncle Enrique. "My job is to deliver food from the warehouse to the grocery store," Uncle Enrique explained. "Let's drive to the warehouse to get more masa." Unfortunately, the warehouse manager said that they did not have any masa. "I'm waiting for a shipment, but hold on." She took them to a different part of the warehouse. "You might find one bag up there," she said, pointing to the very top shelf. Luckily, George was an expert climber. When he reached the top, he saw the masa. George had saved the day. With the bag tucked under his arm, George started to climb down the shelf. "Wait, George! Toss the masa to me," shouted Uncle Enrique. "I'll catch it." So George tossed the bag. Think about what could happen next. Just then, the warehouse manager yelled, "Watch out!" to another employee. Distracted, Uncle Enrique looked away and the bag fell to the ground. It burst open. As they left the warehouse, Uncle Enrique said, "I'm so sorry, Marco. Abuela won't have tortillas for her birthday. It's all my fault." They climbed back into the delivery van. George looked at the back of the empty bag. He pointed to the picture. "George, you're right. There's the mill where they make the masa. There's even an address, and it's not too far away," said Uncle Enrique. They decided to drive to the mill. Inside the mill, a worker showed them how masa is made. So cool. Grains like corn and wheat come into the mill and are cleaned out and inspected. Then the grains are put into a grinder and come out as cornmeal or flour. Next, it is sifted to remove the parts that we don't need. Sifted. That means that it goes through, like one of those strainers, like when you're making noodles, goes through one of those. Finally, the cornmeal or flour is bagged and shipped to the warehouse. "Could we have one bag of masa?" asked Uncle Enrique. "I'm sorry. Our corn comes from local farmers, but there wasn't enough rain this year and the drought delayed the corn harvest. No corn means no masa." George knew a local farmer who grew corn. He even stored rainwater for his crops. George pointed the way to the Reinkes' farm. "Thanks to my water tank, we stored enough water to get through the season. I harvested corn all day today," said Farmer Rankins. Farmer Rinkins was happy to help. He gave them fresh and dried corn. They took the dried corn to the mill, where it was ground into masa and put into bags, while Uncle Enrique took the bags to the warehouse to be packaged for the grocery store. George and Marco took one bag home so that they could make tortillas. George now understood that the food in the stores comes directly from the farmers, just like Mr. Rankins. At last, Marco was able to make his famous tortillas for his abuela's birthday dinner. The whole family loved them, and George did too. And that, my friends, is the end. And look who decided to join us for the ending of the story. Bye-bye.